Hello and welcome to the show. I am back at the Bajarama circuit driving some more vehicles until they fall apart, starting with the much requested Pigeon. Yes, the three-wheeled pickup is going to tackle this circuit. Now I have gone for the 600cc version, which, while it doesn't have a crazy amount of power because the vehicle weighs so little, actually not bad on the acceleration front, which could come in very handy for getting across some of the nastier jumps. Of course, the big fear with this is the front wheel. The Pigeon itself is actually relatively strong. We saw in the Canyon Rally series, when it went tumbling off the side of the course, it could survive some massive, massive crashes. But the front wheel can often get damaged, and whereas in the likes of the Burnside or a normal car, if you lose one of the wheels, if you lose, certainly in a rear-wheel drive car, you lose one of the front wheels, you might still be able to make it crawl it around the course and still be good to go. You lose the front wheel in this, you got no steering. You haven't even got a vague hope of some steering. So the front wheel is going to be a source of, I suspect, trouble. We shall wait and see, though. It actually did pretty well on that first jump. Oh, because it's landed. In fact, it's now landed quite heavily, twice on the front. I mean, the ETK K-Series suspension was dead from impacts like that. Admittedly, though, there is a lot less card landing on it. There's a lot less weight landing. So, yeah, maybe that will be what helps out the Pigeon here. So we go across another jump, and boing, and oh, this is all going very, very badly wrong for the poor car. Hey! We've landed. It's fine. It's only bent. Well, it's only opened the door and bent up the bodywork. If we look at it from the left-hand side, it looks relatively good. Now we're coming up to the nasty jump. Thank you for all the suggestions up here. There's loads of good ones. My favourite, though, and what this jump shall be from now on known as, is Radiator Springs. This is where the K-Series would die. We've actually got enough speed to make it across the jump. We've done a little bit of a twist and a flip on the landing. Oh, and I forgot about it being unbalanced for the J-turn. We're fine. So, the Pigeon has survived longer than the K-Series already. It is now pulling quite badly to the left. In fact, very badly to the left. We can deal with that, though. We can deal with that. There are worse problems. The fact that we still have steering is quite impressive. Look at the speed and the, well, kind of grace. We had grace on the first jump, not so much grace on the second jump. Well, I got away with it again. Has that fixed my steering? If we could just crash it in the opposite way to the way we've crashed it already, we could have the steering fixed. Or we're going to spend a lot of time. I mean, it's always likely to spend a lot of time on its side when you're driving a three-wheeled vehicle on Beam. However, we could probably... no, we're going to go over again. And another one. And we'll find some drive. Still, we've lost a wing mirror. And I think we lost the front bumper. Have we lost the front bumper? Yes, we have. Lost the front bumper with the number plate and so on, but not too bad on the old damage front. The radiator is still in one piece, which is good going indeed. For a second I thought I saw a spit of flames out the exhaust, and I don't think that's a thing that can happen. I think it might just be the particle effect from driving on the dirt. Just happened to be at the right point. Yeah, we are taking a battering on the front of the car, but it is holding strong. I thought once we started bending the front of the car, like it might survive a couple of impacts, but once that front bumper gets bent up, it's going to all be landing on the front wheel. At the moment, we're getting away with it. That's not going to help its cause, though. Surely it can't survive too many of them, although... in crashes like that, we're landing on the roof, we're landing on the bed of the truck. It can deform that. That can take all of the impact. That's fine. It's not landing on the radiator. It's not landing on the drive line or snapping any of the drive shafts or drive axles. We can deal with that. That sort of crash is what's going to cause us issues. If we land that awkwardly on the center of the car, snap the drive line off, that's one way where it is likely to die. Come on, get across. There we go. Well, it is past the Covet's final resting point. It's going to pass the Legrand's final resting point here. I shouldn't speak too soon, but we are past it now. Go on, get back onto your wheels, Pigeon. It surprisingly, considering this course is relatively rough, and in places it's not, I wouldn't say it was slow speed corners, the Pigeon hasn't really rolled over on its own as such. I haven't rolled over just through cornering. Again, I probably shouldn't speak too soon. However, on the most part, it has been relatively good. As I was going to whiz our way through the banking, and I was just worried if we go too far out the banking, that might be a corner that could catch us out in terms of rolling. Oh, we got some oversteer in the Pigeon. That's, well, oopsie daisy. Well, that's that's a goner. As per rules of this series, I am allowed to pick up the vehicle and drag it back onto its wheels should it roll over. I'm trying to avoid doing damage. You'll see me grabbing the more solid bits of the car. I'll try to avoid damage as much as I can when it comes to moving it around. I don't want me to be dragging it about that kills it. However, it's stuck on its roof. I really have very little in the way of option in terms of, we're going to fall up. It does a pretty damn good job of righting itself. We've spent so long rolling. This might be the new rolliest car in this series so far. The thing is, though, it's doing it at such low speeds, it's taking all of the momentum out of the laps, and it's doing it at such low speeds that it doesn't really matter. It's just bouncing around at 20 miles an hour onto its roof, and there's enough strength to get away with it. We're going to go for a front flip and another roll. Or can we, come on, self-right again. Thank you very much. Like, rolls like that are just doing nothing to it. Whoops, some big oversteer again. I have no doubt we're going to snap a wheel eventually, doing something stupid along those lines, because, yeah, it's asking for trouble really bouncing around on your roof. Oh, it's more heavy impacts at the front now. Radiator springs, we were okay here the first time. What about on the second time? Yeah, it's like 43 miles an hour as we take off. It's actually going to be a really nice landing. We've lost more bodywork, however, we're still going. The radiator is still in one piece. Is this the furthest a radiator has survived? Might just be. It might just be. The supercar did have the radiator survive. It was lost a wheel on the second lap. This has surpassed the supercar in terms of distance, and another flip. And in terms of style points, the Pigeon is going to win by an absolute mile. Oh, no, big oversteer moment. I didn't want to go off and visit a very, very solid fence post. That would not end particularly well. Oh, and again, another one. I wonder if we crush the roof down enough. That we can stop this very high centre of mass that I think is what's sending us over every single time. Don't know. I do remember, though, from the... Oh, for God's sake. Just stay on your wheels, please. From the Canyon Rally, I think we fell off. One of the times we fell off. Whoa! Okay, that was a little bit too vicious. Indeed. Did not quite realise the... oh, come on. This might actually end up breaking the engine because it's being a bit of a faff trying to get it back onto its wheels. I say break the engine. Engine being starved of oil will eventually kill it, I think. However, well, I would imagine it would. I can't say I've ever done it for long enough, but... yeah, I'm trying to right the car as quickly as I possibly can. It's not the easiest of things. Yes, we shall use the doors. It's an unconventional Shremek, kind of a little bit like Razor's, the beak wings thing that it used to right itself. That's what we've got going on with the doors of our Pigeon. It looks decidedly second-hand, let's be honest. That was about the best landing we've had. We didn't just bounce back up into the air. Maybe the brokenness is finally helping it from rolling over. Oh, we've killed the radiator now. That's the radiator gone. It would... I'm amazed the radiator survived that long, and I'm also more amazed the radiator went before the front wheel. And whoop, that front wheel is so strong. Like, I thought crashes like that would kill it. I guess we're not going quite fast enough, perhaps. Whereas things like the K-Series and the Bolide, when they hit and snapped off wheel axles, they were going quicker than this, and there was a lot more weight behind them. Oh, my Razor wings aren't working. That's not going to go over. Well, it will go over when you do that. Definitely it is winning on style points. We've kind of made a almost a coupe version of the Pigeon. I probably shouldn't be messing around with the camera. What a massive chunk taken out the door as well. It's quite amusing. Oh, we're going sideways across there. Can't believe we're going to make it on to our third lap with the Pigeon. It is still going strong here. It is still going strong, and it may well. In fact, I would imagine it is going to go further. The Moonhawk went up in a blaze of glory around by that fence, so we have beaten the muscle car. The Sunburst died around about here with an expired radiator, so we've beaten the Sunburst. The Pigeon, the three-wheeled pickup truck, is still going around this course, which is, I think, really quite remarkable. Although, with the radiator dead, I can already see the temperatures are starting to creep up. I'm not sure... Oh, we're going to go for another roll. There we go. I'm not sure we're going to be able to go as far as the Grand Marshal did. I think we would be hard pushed to make it quite that distance, because the Grand Marshal, it took a long time before the radiator started giving that one problems, before the temperature even started moving in that, whereas this, yeah, it's already starting. It's relatively slow, though. We might be able to make it up to second place, though, which, let's face it, would be a hell of a showing from this. We haven't got taken holes out of the left-hand side door. It's just the right-hand side door that we have. Third gear is kind of useless. It doesn't really seem to be helping us in any way. Oh, God, we're going to bounce. We're going to bounce. Are we going to go for another roll? No, we've managed to control it this time with a little bit of oversteer. It's fine. Radiator springs once more. We head up to... Come on. Bounce across there. Bounce across there. We've got another lap to survive. If we want to go into first with the Pigeon, we need to get past here next time around. That might be asking a bit too much. We've gone for another roll. How is the driveline and the front wheel still alive in this car? We have hit it in every possible way, I think, at the moment, and it's perfectly okay. Well, the coolant is starting to go. We are having all sorts of issues. I think actually why third gear is struggling. I think it's the diff in this car is just terrible on this dirt. That might be what the problem is we're struggling to put power down. Oh, boing and land it. We're fine. We're okay. We're going to make it around this next corner. Can we go further than the Burnside? The Burnside made it down the second section of motocross jumps before the driveline snapped on that one. Oh, come on now. We're in the top 3 at least, I believe, with the Pigeon. I'm trying to remember where the Miramar died, somewhere around this area. We have, the temperature's just shot up with this car, the radiator. Oh, come on. Ugh. We've made it, though. We might be able to squeak onto our 4th lap if something doesn't die across these next few jumps. Or we can go for another roll. That's fine. Oh, come on, Pigeon Shreemac. Damn it, it's not working. Now we're going to go for Pigeon Quick Shreemac. Oh! The door, they really do act like razor's wings. It just bounces off them. We've taken chunks out of the left-hand side door as well. We've found where the Pigeon build quality is shoddy. It's on the doors. The doors are the shoddiest part of the Pigeon. Apparently, they really did fix that front wheel up good and proper. Flick over that way. Uh-oh. No. Bad, because time is a-wasting. Oh, that might be a little bit too much. There we go. It's fine. Yeah, time is a waste when we're doing that. I think the engine is still taking overheating damage. I mean, it's still going to be idling upside down at wonky angles. Probably not so healthy for the Pigeon engine. The Burnside expired at this jump here. It was the landing of this jump here that killed the driveline. Oh, it's going to be, I think, about the same distance. No, unless we can get the Pigeon started again, which we cannot. It is the same distance. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. I was pressing that down on the D-pad and I must have accidentally pressed it a little too far to the right, and well, that was clever of me. Well, we've got our fresh Pigeon now. However, it expired on lap 3, almost identical positioning to the Burnside in the end. Well, a roll, I think, turned the engine off and we couldn't get it fired again. Don't know what's gone on with the rear wheels there. They were vibrating around a lot. Yeah, engine expired. Eventually, so many rolls though from the Pigeon, and somehow the front wheel and steering remained working throughout. That is not what I expected. Now, if it's strength you're after, you can't really go wrong with a truck. Yes, it is likely to be a hell of a lot tougher than a Pigeon. In fact, it can probably run over a Pigeon absolutely no problem. However, I do have concerns with this vehicle because, yeah, there is a lot of strength, but there is also an astronomical amount of weight. And if we land on a wheel awkwardly, I don't know if it's strong enough to survive that. I don't know if it's strong enough not to have wheels snap off. Admittedly, if it's one of the rear wheels, we can probably get away with it. We've got, well, plenty of them back there. And if we just sort of snap tyres and so on, we'll probably be okay. It's the front wheels that are my big concern. We land on that awkwardly, we might be able to keep going for a while, but the truck's hardly the most manoeuvrable thing in the world. I say that, we almost get oversteer in a semi-truck. Yeah, we snap off one of the front wheels. Oh, yeah, we'll be in trouble. Now, the Pigeon did far exceed my expectation in terms of survivability on the front wheels. It's a little bit wobbly, it's a little bit scary in this. However, we have made it around the opening jump. How will we fare up here? Oh, good God, that was a... The whole chassis at the front twisted. That's not a comforting sight. I wonder if we could snap the chassis. Like, have the entire front half snap off from the rear. I don't know if we can do that, but the way that took the jump there, half looked like it might. Oh, I'm not sure this is going to be much fun across Radiator Springs, I'll be honest. In fact, it's not that much fun across here. It's just so much bouncing. There is so much bouncing going on in the truck. I'm not really sure what gear I want to be in. The diffs in this is absolutely awful as we come up now to Radiator Springs. Come on, don't break something now. We can do it. We need about 40 miles an hour across the jump. We are not going to get 40 miles an hour. Whoa! We're going to get a front flip from the truck. We haven't quite landed it. Oh, that's on the fuel tank. It's a little bit more difficult to roll over than the Pigeon, I will be honest here. Come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Now we have a super aerodynamic. There's a reverse gear in here somewhere. That's reverse too. Let's find something to. Oh god, we're almost. I think we're stuck out in the dirt. Are we beached in the dirt? It is still working. The truck is still drivable. Is it? Okay, right. We might have to have. There is a momentary pause while we remove debris from underneath our truck. I think when you front flipped a truck, I think that's fair to have a momentary clear out. Is that what was getting it stuck? Possibly. So both the exhaust stacks fell off. The front bumper's gone. The cabin wouldn't be a very comfortable place to be in. Oh god, I think there is more problems than just stuff stuck underneath it. Right, so let's get it through the gears, see if we can get it moving again. We can see the issue is, I think, perhaps the bent chassis is now causing problems for our drive. And perhaps, I think it's our diff that's causing it the most problems now. Because the entire chassis is twisted, it is only wanting to spin one wheel. So we've got a serious deficiency in power. We are still working. The truck is still drivable here. But we are going to have issues, I think, getting across the jumps. There goes the drive shaft. Yeah, the chassis was so buckled early on that we could not. Well, we're going to coast our way through these through a corner. The front flip killed it. While it didn't physically murder anything important, amazingly, because we don't have the speed to get up the hill to take Radiator Springs, we did a front flip with the truck, and buckling the chassis meant so we couldn't put any power down, and as soon as we took the next jump, I mean, you can kind of see it landed on the middle and that snapped the drive shaft. So the truck, while spectacular, briefly, I'm not sure if this wins the Spectacle Award or the Pigeon, to be honest. A Pigeon rolled many times, but a complete front flip in a truck is not bad. Well, I say a complete front flip. A spectacular front flip in a truck is not bad going. Yeah, that did not last particularly long. And our final vehicle for the day is another one of the most requested cars, the stanced Pessima. Yes, it is about as awful a choice of car for a Baja circuit as you can get, so should be suitably entertaining to see how long it will last. I say about as bad, one redeeming characteristic, it is front-wheel drive. Now, what that means is that if something should happen to one of the rear wheels and that snaps off, it doesn't really matter, which perhaps slightly better than rear-wheel drive in a weird way. Well, we're not going to have great traction out of corners, etc. In a rear-wheel drive car, you snap off any of the wheels and it's game over. In a front-wheel drive car, while you're more likely to be damaging the front wheels on any vehicle, because we're going to be landing the jumps mostly on the nose, you can get away with losing a rear wheel. The biggest concern of all, though, is quite clearly the suspension. It's pretty broken for normal driving, let alone for this sort of thing. We're not going to be landing jumps nicely. Oh. Okay, well, I might take that back slightly. I was expecting a big clonk and everything to fall off. However, it sort of landed on the front bumper, and the front bumper dealt with it. Maybe we've got a super strong front bumper. That would be helpful, in fact. The front bumper can ride all of the hits and deal with them. I'm perfectly fine with that. Well, it will ride it for a little while before it eventually snaps off, and then it will be the nose of the car. We're going to go for a roll. Our first roll with the Pessima, and the radiator's gone already. I have a sneaking suspicion, though, that it's going to die long before it overheats. Because that's only the first small jumps. Well, yeah, we've smushed the front up a little bit. We've also got a terrible automatic gearbox, which means it's not going to be in the right gear at the right time, probably. So we'll see how that fares. Ooh, that's a horrible crunch. The problem, problem with this is having is it can't actually get... Oh, we've beached it. No, can we get it into a reverse? Come on, reverse. There we go. Oh, the front wheel. Problem is, with such little in the way of suspension, we're landing all the jumps on the chassis, and that's going to bend the chassis and break it up even more. There we go, we can get up that section. Yeah, it's going to break the chassis up even more, and then we're going to beach it on even more jumps. Radiator Springs is never going to make it. We are going to, well, slightly take a shortcut. It's still going, though, from that. I say my rules for vehicles is if we can't get round if I have to go into reverse to get round a corner, then it will have failed the course. If it is because it's beached on a rock or something, I am allowed to reverse it off of that. Okay, so we've got some steering issues going on. In fact, we've got some crabbing issues going on in the Pessima, which is not great. Oh, we're going to land on the chassis again, aren't we? No, we're going to land on the nose and twist. However, we are going to come back down again. I think we're just going to get beached on a motocross jump. I think that's going to be the issue. The chassis is going to just get too... In fact, the chassis might even be too buckled. I can't see a thing through all of the smoke and dust and everything. I think in pristine condition, the chassis is going to get beached on the motocross jumps. We've got to keep momentum up here. If we lose momentum, I think it's going to be game over. Now, we might be able to, because we're bouncing around so horribly, we're not actually going fast enough to get a huge amount of airtime, so we may be able to keep enough momentum up here. It's going to be a dodgy one at best. However, you never know. I really thought the driveline would go from one of these clonks on the ground. It would be so easy when it's landing on the chassis so heavily for it to just wipe the driveline out, or one of the front wheel axles from those impacts. We might actually now not be able to go fast enough to hit those heavily, although this might be the end of the Pessima here. Nope, we've got away with it. Oh, bouncy, bouncy across these horrible motocross jumps. The front left wheel is looking decidedly dodgy, and it's not really... Well, the front left is bending... In fact, both the front wheels are bending inwards, which is not ideal. The rear toe angles, I think, are all askew. Both of the back wheels. Come on. Oh, I thought it had died. No, it was just the gearbox. It's just the terrible gearbox trying to find a gear. Oh, these jumps aren't going to be fun. We could get away with just sort of slowly going across the motocross ones, but these ones we're going to hit the ground hard. Hit the ground very hard indeed. That's actually killed the engine. That's it. That's all it's got. It's not overheated. It's not an overheating problem with the Pessima. We did so much damage to the front, eventually the bumper just, well, couldn't absorb any more, and then we were hitting the engine, and it would eventually kill it. I'm amazed we've made it as far as it did. It outdrove the Covet. It's got further than the Covet, the ETK K-Series, and the truck. Hasn't quite made it as far as the Legrand. It is still down towards the bottom of the table. I really thought this would go out a lot quicker. I'm amazed it almost made it to a complete lap. But suspension so hopelessly damaged. I do think the way it was so buckled up, slowing us down enough that across the motocross sections, we weren't taking as big a hits as we could have been, potentially, despite going as fast as I could. Yeah, that might have helped it slightly. But first big jump, land on the engine, cambers and toes, everything's broken at the front in terms of steering and the back in terms of alignment. But it could have been worse. I was expecting worse from the stanced Pessima. So it is on to our leaderboard, and the Pigeon will go into third place, while both the Pigeon and the Burnside would break down on the same jump. The Burnside, with its drive shaft snapping, actually rolled that little bit further than the Pigeon's tumble and then engine die. So, yeah, the Pigeon will have to settle for third place, but still, I was not expecting to get onto lap 3 with that car. It is an incredibly, incredibly impressive performance from the three-wheeled pickup. We do have to go to the bottom, or towards the bottom at least, of our table. The K-Series is still in last place. However, the T-Series, the truck's broken drive shaft, would put it into 12th place, while the stance Pessima did last a little bit longer. Still not particularly good. The Pessima, though, would be the first car to go out from actual sort of crash damage to the engine. While all the other cars that died with their engines went from overheating issues, the Pessima is actually the first one to go out from just sort of complete catastrophic engine failure. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.